Do 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 do. There goes Wella, aka the Iron Waffler. Do 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 do. Moon Bay. All right then. Rami. Once again with those killer shades. Ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum bum bum. Ugh. Do 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 do. All right. Thank you for the follow. Not a whole lot, just trying to help some people make some quick money. Yikes. Seems almost every time I find somebody comes along and they're like, yeah, I just started over again, or I just lost my island, or I reset it, or whatever the case may be. Fair enough. I suppose that would be somewhat triggering, I imagine. Well, if the sacrifice of your Animal Crossing island makes you happier, I guess it's worth the sacrifice then, right? So I've rebuilt. I've never reset though. So this is your fourth, like You reset it once, then you had to, and you reset it again. Surgery. You reset it 3. So this is the 4th time. Wow. Oh, that's what I saw. Okay. Just before that person came over, I noticed, I thought I saw something on the ground over there. It was just the foot of the table there. I was about to go, what the hell is that? Oh, excuse me. Deposit. Okay. Just double checking who's actually here, because I get distracted easily. I have... Let's see if I can remember these off the top of my head without actually having to look it up again. I have Bill, Lobo, Alice, unfortunately. That's a long story. Raymond, Tutu, Zucker, Phoebe, Angus, or not Angus, sorry, T-Bone, Norma, and I'm missing one. Who am I missing? Did I say Tutu? Damn it. Okay, who am I missing? Shit. Bill. I'm trying to remember because their houses are all along the front of the island, so I'm trying to remember in the order that they're across the island. And for the most part, it's alphabetical order. Alice is the only one that's out of alphabetical order. Bill, Lobo, Alice, Norma, oh, Sherb. Sherb's the one I'm missing. I was like, it's some. I was like, I was even trying to like picture the houses too, because I know like the different unique designs to their houses. And I'm like, who am I missing? It's Reese. Yeah, other than Lobo, I don't really have any specific attachment to any of my characters. But I don't want any of them to leave either. Again, except for Alice. We don't like Alice. I started with Bill and Phoebe. So they were the first two. And then after that, I had, instead of Alice and Lobo, my original 10 that I had was Angus, which is why my brain went to Angus there, and Diva. I didn't have any special attachment to any of them. I was a little annoyed that I didn't have Lobo, because Lobo's been one of my villagers at the start of every Animal Crossing game that he's been in since the big, like, every time. On my last game, on the 3DS, etc. And I was like kind of annoyed that I couldn't find Lobo anywhere. Even when I went to other people's islands, nobody had him, and it was like, that's so weird. Like, there's literally hundreds of villagers, and yet I was probably seeing the same 30 to 40 every single time I went to somebody's island. So but I didn't really have any special attachment, but I didn't also understand at the beginning how villagers leaving worked in this game, because I was used to the previous games where your villagers would just sometimes randomly leave, and you'd log back in and they'd be gone, and you'd be like, what the hell, where'd they go, right? So when I got the campsite, Meringue came to visit one day, and I was talking to Meringue at the campsite, and hey, how's it going, doing all that. Oh, it would be cool if somebody made me this. Oh, it'd be cool if this was that. And I was like, all right, cool, I'll do all that. So I was doing all that, and everything was cool, and then she goes, oh, I would love to I'd love to move here. And not realizing again how the game worked in that regards, I was like, yeah, sure, you should move here. And she comes back and she goes, oh, cool, Diva wants to leave, so I'm taking over her place. And I was like, wait, what? No. And it's not like I had any special attachment to Diva, but there she was gone. So I collect the amiibo cards, and I get a Lobo card. So I was like, all right. At this point, I kind of now understand that they can't leave unless you basically ask them to leave. So I get the Lobo card, and I'm like, all right, I think the next person who asks me to leave, I'm going to let them leave. And I'm like, I'm gonna let them leave, and I'm gonna try and get Lobo onto my island. So Angus asks one day if he can leave, so I say happy trails to Angus, and I get Lobo on my island. So now I'm happy because I've got Lobo, and Meringue is now part of our community. So I was like, all right, it's all good. And then one day I was rushing, trying to do something, and Meringue does the whole like, oh, I'm thinking about leaving, and instead of saying no, don't go, I accidentally hit go ahead, see you later. And so I panicked. I quickly found another amiibo card for a villager I wouldn't mind having join my island, and I started inviting them quickly to try and get them to join. And before I could get them to join, Alice took over, moved in, And this is why we hate Alice. And this is why Alice needs to go. We don't want her here. She shouldn't be here. And she needs to go. Yes. But she never says she wants to go. I get everybody else. Raymond's probably asked about 5 or 6 times since I got Alice. Bill's asked at least twice. Almost everybody else has asked at least 1 or 2 times. Alice has not once ever been, like, even had, like, the little thought bubble things over her head to indicate that she's even deep in thought about anything. Let alone wanting to leave. But Alice needs to go. And I do know that I can attempt to force her out. I've read, like, how, like, you know, in that same scenario where I got Meringue, where you can, like, immediately, like, just shut off the game and start again, and it's like it didn't happen kind of thing, so you don't lose the villager that you want to keep. And I could keep doing that until I get the one I want, until they go, oh, Alice wants to leave. But I feel like I'd be in a tedious, endless loop of doing that. I was going to say, Kev came by the other day. I recognize his Discord name. I'm trying to figure out what the best time to lock the island, like the queue, is too, because at a certain point, this 461 price is going to run out. Starkville. Tony Stark? Doesn't look like a Tony Stark. Boom. There goes Kev. Do, 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 do. Hmm. This next person's Discord name looks familiar too. I've done this so many times that there's starting to be certain people that show up that I recognize and know they've been to my island many times. The island name does not sound familiar, though. I may be confusing this with somebody else. Geez, there's still 20 people in line after this.